What if military pilots were telling the truth? Not about little green men or science fiction invasions, but about seeing objects in the sky that they genuinely could not identify. For more than 70 years, fighter pilots, radar operators, intelligence officers, and government investigators filed reports describing strange aerial encounters. Some witnesses were civilians. Others were among the most highly trained observers in the world. For decades, many people assumed the government was hiding the truth. Then thousands of pages of documents began emerging from archives, intelligence agencies, and the Pentagon itself. The files revealed a story filled with Cold War fears, secret spy planes, intelligence investigations, military encounters, and a mystery that remains unresolved in some cases even today. But what did these documents actually say? And how much of what people believe about UFOs is fact rather than myth? This is the story of America's longest-running investigation into the unknown skies above it. The modern UFO era began during the summer of 1947. On June 24th, private pilot Kenneth Arnold was flying near Mount Rainier in Washington state when he reported seeing 9 unusual objects moving across the sky at extraordinary speed. When describing their movement, he compared them to saucers skipping across water. Newspapers quickly transformed the phrase into something that would become famous around the world: flying saucers. Within weeks, reports began appearing across the United States. Some came from ordinary citizens. Others came from military personnel. Then came the incident that would become the most famous UFO story in history. Near Roswell, New Mexico, military officials announced they had recovered a flying disc from a nearby ranch. The statement was quickly withdrawn and replaced with an explanation involving a weather balloon. The reversal sparked decades of speculation and suspicion. Whether the public accepted the explanation or not, one fact became clear: the military was taking these reports seriously. The timing could not have been more sensitive. The Second World War had ended only 2 years earlier. Relations between the United States and the Soviet Union were rapidly deteriorating. American intelligence officials feared that strange objects reported in the sky might represent advanced Soviet aircraft or weapons technology. In 1948, the newly created United States Air Force Launch Project signed to investigate the growing number of reports. Investigators gathered witness statements, photographs, radar observations, and military reports. Some officials believed certain cases deserved deeper study. Others remained skeptical. A year later, Project Sign was replaced by Project Grudge. The new project adopted a more cautious and skeptical approach. Its goal was not only to investigate sightings, but also to reduce public concern over the growing UFO phenomenon. Yet reports continued to arrive. By 1952, sightings had increased dramatically. That summer, radar operators detected unusual targets near Washington, D.C. Military aircraft were scrambled to investigate. The events made national headlines and intensified public interest. In response, the Air Force launched Project Blue Book. Over the next 17 years, investigators collected more than 12,000 reports. Most were eventually explained as aircraft, balloons, astronomical objects, weather phenomena, or misidentifications. But not every case received a definitive answer. A small percentage remained officially classified as unidentified. For believers, those unexplained cases became proof that something extraordinary was occurring. For skeptics, they represented incomplete information rather than evidence of alien visitors. As the 1960s progressed, the debate only grew louder. The mystery had become part of American culture. But behind the headlines and speculation, a much larger story was unfolding. The Cold War was entering one of its most dangerous phases. And the true reason many intelligence officials worried about UFO reports had far less to do with aliens than with national security. As Americans watched the skies, intelligence agencies were watching something else: the Soviet Union. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Cold War tensions dominated national security planning. Any unidentified object appearing near military facilities, strategic bases, or nuclear installations immediately attracted attention. Government investigators understood that a genuine, unknown aircraft could represent a serious threat. This concern shaped nearly every major UFO investigation of the era. Many reports came from areas connected to secret military programs. Witnesses often described objects flying higher and faster than conventional aircraft. What they did not know was that some of those sightings involved technology hidden even from most members of the government. One example was the U-2 spy plane. Designed to fly at extreme altitudes, it operated far above the range of commercial aircraft. Pilots and civilians who spotted the aircraft frequently reported strange lights or unusual objects in the sky. Later CIA documents would reveal that a significant number of UFO reports during the 1950s were likely connected to these secret flights. The same pattern continued with the A-12 Oxcart, one of the fastest aircraft ever built. Its unusual appearance and performance generated additional sightings. To the public, these objects seemed mysterious. To intelligence officials, they represented some of America's most closely guarded secrets. This created a complicated problem. Investigators could not always reveal the true explanation because doing so would expose classified programs. As a result, some cases remained unresolved in public records even when government officials privately understood what had occurred. Meanwhile, Project Blue Book continued reviewing reports. By the late 1960s, the Air Force concluded that UFO investigations had produced no evidence of advanced foreign technology and no proof of extraterrestrial visitation. In 1969, Project Blue Book officially closed. Many assumed the story had ended. It had not. Although public investigations were reduced, military and intelligence agencies continued monitoring unusual aerial incidents whenever they appeared relevant to national security. Over the following decades, UFO culture expanded dramatically. Books, television programs, films, and conspiracy theories filled the gap left by official silence. Stories about hidden evidence and secret government knowledge spread around the world. Yet many claims circulating in popular culture had little connection to the actual documents. The real records told a different story. They revealed investigators attempting to distinguish genuine security concerns from misunderstandings and rumors. For decades, the mystery seemed destined to remain trapped between official skepticism and public fascination. Then, in the early 21st century, a new series of encounters would force the Pentagon back into the spotlight. And this time, the witnesses were not civilians looking into the night sky. They were military pilots operating some of the most advanced equipment on Earth. In November 2004, pilots from the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz were conducting training exercises in the Pacific Ocean when something unusual appeared on their sensors. Radar operators detected an object performing movements they struggled to explain. When fighter aircraft moved in for visual identification, pilots reported seeing a small white object shaped like a tic tac. According to their accounts, it maneuvered in ways that seemed highly unusual before rapidly disappearing. For years, the incident remained largely unknown outside military circles. Then came additional encounters. Navy pilots operating off the eastern coast of the United States reported objects that appeared repeatedly during training missions. Advanced sensors recorded footage that would later become famous around the world. Videos known as FLIR, Gimbal, and Go Fast generated intense public debate. In 2017, reporting brought renewed attention to these incidents. Suddenly, UFOs were no longer confined to conspiracy theories and late-night television. The discussion had entered mainstream politics, intelligence circles, and military planning. The Pentagon eventually acknowledged the authenticity of several videos. Importantly, this did not mean officials had identified extraterrestrial spacecraft. It simply confirmed that the recordings were genuine military footage of objects that had not yet been fully explained. As public interest increased, Congress demanded greater transparency. New investigations followed. The Pentagon established organizations dedicated to studying what became known as unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs. Reports were released. Hearings were conducted. Previously classified information entered the public domain. The findings surprised many people. Government reports did not claim evidence of alien visitors, nor did they completely dismiss every encounter. Instead, investigators reached a more cautious conclusion. Many incidents could likely be explained through improved analysis, sensor limitations, atmospheric effects, drones, foreign surveillance technology, or ordinary objects observed under unusual circumstances. Yet some cases lacked enough data for definitive conclusions. That uncertainty became the most important discovery of all. The files revealed that investigators often faced incomplete information rather than extraordinary proof. The mystery was less about hidden answers and more about unanswered questions. After more than 70 years of investigations, thousands of reports, and countless pages of documents, the Pentagon's UFO files revealed something both fascinating and unexpected. The greatest mystery was not what officials knew. It was how much they still did not know. And perhaps the most intriguing question remains unanswered. If the most advanced military systems in the world occasionally encounter objects they cannot immediately identify, what else might still be waiting to be discovered? Because the next declassified file may not close the case. It may open an entirely new chapter in the mystery of the skies above us. And that story is still being written today.